So next on our agenda, as I mentioned earlier, we always love to hear from our citizens. This is not a public forum, but we want to hear from our citizens. You know, I will say this, that I challenge anyone to look at my social media channels. I have Twitter, I have 2 Facebook pages, I have a Mayor's Report blog on the website. These meetings, I talk to the camera, I give you numbers to the penny. I'll tell you that I'm the most transparent elected official in the history of this state. And I want you to, if I'm not, you show me somebody who is. I can show you where every penny of every dollar has been spent since I was elected on June 28 of 2013. And you show me again somebody who can't. So we're going to be transparent. We want to hear from the people. And so we have 2 people that have registered to speak tonight, and we're going to go in that order, okay? So we're going to, hey, because we have city business to take care of, we can't stay here all night talking about issues. You're going to get 3 minutes to say your piece, okay? So the first one is going to be Jason Haley. Will you please come forward?
Hey, so, last time we talked here, you said they were putting a sound wall up, or I believe you said they have. Is that complete, or is that in progress? Do we know?
Yeah, and you brought a legitimate concern, Jason. I appreciate that. So can I give you an update?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I knew you were coming. I knew you wanted an update, and you deserve that. And so the answer to your question, several weeks back, we are monitoring the noise there. And like I told you, the noise is a problem. It's
a
too
big
much.
problem.
It's a problem. It needs to be fixed. And like I told everyone in my statement on August the 1st, I would never allow any kind of economic development to come to this city that hurt our city. And my promise today stands to that. And I've upheld that promise because I've had numerous discussions with them. So the wall was a $7 million wall that was put up, I think, about a month ago. It did bring the decibels down, measured the decibels. It brought the decibels down about 10. So the current plan at this time, and I've quizzed them about this because I share your concern. These temporary turbines, like you're going to hear natural construction noise out there.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about that.
You're not worried about that.
No,
You're going to hear trucks backing up and the whole thing. You're worried about the hum that sounds like a jet airplane on a runway.
And the high-pitched noise, which is constant.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that is being caused by the temporary turbines that are out there. So when they start a new turbine, for it to work properly and not damage the gas line, they have to turn that thing on full blast. You mentioned yourself that you noticed at times it's higher, then it seems to go away a little bit, and then it's higher again.
Yeah.
So the reason that you're seeing the decibel level higher at times is for that reason.
Okay.
That is not acceptable.
No.
We got to look for another solution to that. I've been out there countless times. I've never owned a decibel meter until now.
Me too, until recently.
Thank you, Whitney. Where are you, Whitney? Whitney provided me with my first ever decibel meter, and I've been using the heck out of it. So here's what's the wall was about a $7 million wall. Took it down some. The next plan is to build a berm, to build a dirt berm with evergreen landscaping. You will notice you live closest as any. Actually, where you live, I've been to the end of Colonial Hills Drive. I've been to Cherry Valley Park. I've been to Stanton Road. I've been to Tulane. I walked everywhere. Where you live, and I think it's due to the grade of the land, is the worst.
Okay.
When you read that, like I've even been on Stanton. When I know you're not proud of that.
Yeah.
But so even on Stanton, we've got higher readings at your property. I think it's because it's elevated. So the goal, the next thing on the plan, is to build a berm that's about a $12.8 million berm, and then to plant evergreen landscaping. When the leaves fell off the trees in the fall, it was a tremendous difference. And so that's one of the things that's causing it to be even more severe. But the berm with additional landscaping is projected to make a tremendous difference in the reduction. Again, I'm not leaving you. I keep my promises. They know I've expressed the concern. They're aware of that. There's other things that can be done. We're going to control the noise. That is going to happen.
Yeah, so I mean, and thanks for the update. Anything to help it, but in the last meeting, just to clarify, you just said the wall is up, and you went out there, and your decibel reading showed as low as 39.1. I've never had a reading that low, other than those 3 days. So I think it's important to add that was the 16th when you measured that, So that was a Tuesday. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday were the 3 most peaceful days I've had since August from this noise. And to me, it can't be a coincidence that Monday, the 15th, there was a public hearing for the turbines and xAI in Memphis. So there was a lot of media, a lot of probably environmentalists, people in town that were obviously visiting these other sites. So they go down there, it was quiet for 3 days. And then the following day, that noise got so loud, people up to 3 miles away in Horn Lake were asking about it, were complaining about this noise. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you went down there to get the decimal reading. You said you've done more. I've never had it under 40. So even in another email you mentioned to me that these temporary units which should be at 44 or below for the decibels. I can tell you that high-pitched noise carries farther than that. I mean, so, when you speak of decimal readings, people could say, hey, my dishwasher is this same decimal level. Well, if I put my dishwasher in my backyard and ran it, people a half mile or 3 miles away aren't hearing it. So this is a different type of noise. Mm-hmm. Now, the lower tone, I hear that inside my house pretty much every night. Some nights worse than others, and it's more of a pressure. I've tried earplugs, doesn't help, still hear it. So, this is a big deal. This is a big problem, and I understand I might be the closest, but there's other residents around there that in Colonial Hills that definitely have these same concerns.
Oh, yeah, and I will tell you this, on January 2nd, I was at Cherry Valley Park. I spent 2 hours out there listening. I walked some of the streets of Colonial Hills. I know Colonial Hills pretty well.
Yeah.
I walked the streets of Colonial Hills, unacceptable. It was a loud roar. And then on the decibel ratings, again, the day that I told you was down as low as 39. Mm. And so just on my own, I've really, just using the human ear and then using the technology with a decibel meter, there were days that you said after that, and they were as high as 53.
Yeah, I've got readings over 60. When we're talking about decimal readings too, neither one of us are audio engineering experts, I'm assuming. I know I'm not, but in a dBA reading, you're getting around 60. If you have that meter and you switch it to C, then you're getting 70, 80. So I know there's differences there, but I've been trying to get readings of both just to have some comparison for someone that may know better. Hey, this is what this means.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But just to be consistent, I've done mine the same way every time.
Okay.
So there were readings as high as 53, 54.
Yeah.
And when it's that high, it's unacceptable. It's too loud. I've spoken with xAI. They're aware of that. But on the flip side, I've been there when the readings were as low as 39 to 42, and I can tell you that when it's that low, I'd cook out on your back porch every night. It's not a problem.
No, it's still a problem. That high pitched noise carries. So even when I was at, say 41, 42 on one night, that high pitched noise still reaches me.
Yeah.
Sitting in my backyard, you can hear it, and there's no denying it.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, some people in the neighborhood do deny it. With hearing loss, hearing damage, or over a certain age, that high pitch, the frequencies may not be heard.
Yeah.
My mother's been down. She says, I'm not really hearing that high pitch. I'm like, well, I hear it now. I have a neighbor that's been a flight attendant for 30 plus years. She doesn't always hear the high pitch, but she does sometimes.
And there's a lot of factors that contribute to that, like the air humidity and things like that. So there's going to be some variation to that.
Yeah, but
what I'm telling you, with the human ear and then measuring it, I think that their goal is to get under 40. And so I'm confident that if we're under 40 there in the low 40s, I think it's going to be something that's not going to be as disruptive. And so that's the goal. But I would agree with you, 53 to 56 is not acceptable.
Even in the 40s, again, though, I will stand on that for me to be out there in my yard, cleaning around the house or doing stuff, that's irritating. It's hard to be outside for long when all you're hearing is this high-pitched whine.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. And again, from inside my house, I've got new windows. I got nice windows.
Yeah.
I hear that low tone. I hear it consistently inside my house at night, trying to sleep. I've lost sleep over this. Plenty of it, just because it's, I'll put a podcast or have some audio playing, and it goes off, and then you hear that noise. If you wake up, use the restroom, you hear that noise, and then, obviously it gets me angry because it's still happening, and it's happened since August. So, again, you say this is a 12-month thing, that their permit for these mobile turbines ends in next August. So this is going to be till August. It seems like that I'm going to have these problems with the noise.
No, we're working on that daily. We're working on that daily, and they have committed to that.
So,
and the other thing, it is fair to point out, and again, don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to make you mad, but the area across the railroad tracks has been an industrial zone since the city's inception.
Right.
It has just not been used to its capacity like it's being used now. So you bought a house next to an industrial zone.
Yeah.
You did. And so in the 70s, the Grenada Railroad the trains are not now, but in the 1970s, I lived in the neighborhood, and the trains were frequent. So where you are, you would get at least 3 trains a night. So I'm just trying to put that in perspective. You do live in an area that's adjacent to an industrial zone.
Right, and the trains, they come and go, like the planes fly over and they go. It's not a 24/7 consistent noise. You know, it's a big difference. I understand industrial zone. However, you know, I've been here 20 years, and as someone in their mid-20s, they're not looking, you know, I didn't consider any of that buying my house.
Yeah.
And then 20 years later, all of a sudden, starting in August, I feel like I'm being tortured daily.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, shame on me for not looking at all the details and knowing everything that, hey, there's an industrial zone, even though it's not been used or it's been quiet, never heard a peep out of it, and all of a sudden it is.
Yeah.
You know, and this power plant, I've talked to people that have lived here longer than 20 years. The Duke Energy plant, when it was around, my understanding wasn't making a ton of noise. It wasn't a disturbance like this. This is not just a revised power plant. This is a massive scale operation.
Well, and that's why I've told you before, and again, just to reiterate that, these turbines that are out there are temporary. So when the permanent units are there, they're housed, and they're going to be placed further to the west where the old Duke turbines were.
Okay.
So there was going to be a difference with that then. But even still, look, I don't want you to think that that someone's writing this off, that this is okay until July. It's not, okay?
All right.
I've had meetings, I've had discussions with them today. They hear us loud and clear. They understand that some things are not acceptable, and you have my commitment that we're gonna work on that to get the noise level to an
All right,
acceptable.
and I'll keep speaking to you, and hopefully, even if it's not here, that we can have emails, and you can keep some updates. And I haven't. Again, it seems like that with all your social media posts and everything, I mean that the people that aren't here at the meeting or that have, that I've told and talked to my neighborhood, no one knows this is a problem. So I mean, there's not enough. I don't think there's enough statements on what's going on really outside of here, or
Yeah.
directly speaking to people in my neighborhood that I hear that sounds like a plane. Is there a new airport back there? No, that's the power plant, and that's.
Well,
That's
to be fair, as I mentioned earlier, we put information out there. We're transparent, we put it out there. But there's also responsibility on everyone's else part to tune in. I mean, I know there's people
I
here
get
that've
that.
never been to a public meeting.
I get that.
We have these twice a month, every
Right.
month. They're video recorded.
Yeah.
You can go back and watch every meeting that I've ever done since 2013. You can go watch it. So everything that I've said, it has been recorded.
Right.
It's out there. And so, anyway, there is some responsibility on the citizens' part as well to stay informed as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. It's just, with this being that big of an impact, with it affecting so many neighborhoods and so many people, it seems like maybe just getting out in front of that and letting more people know via social media. With more people are looking at social media than they are watching these meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect there. I'm new here, obviously. We haven't spoke before all this started happening. So yeah, I get that not everyone's showing up or not everyone's watching and listening to them. It's it's not everybody's following everything like
Yeah.
that. But if you post something on Facebook or Twitter or whatever your other social medias are, you're going to have a lot more people that are aware that aren't going to come to these meetings or listen to them.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think we got pretty good coverage. I think we got traditional media here.
Yeah.
Again, it's being video recorded.
Right.
I've told you the latest details. I've
Yeah.
told you specifically what is next to address the noise
All right.
concern, and it's legit.
Okay.
So the good news for you is that you don't realize it, but I am on your team. You don't quite feel that way yet.
and you
But-
can understand why, though, correct?
I do,
mean,
I do.
I'm not doubting you or calling you a liar. I'm just saying that this drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It really does. And I work full time. I come home, and this is what I have to hear.
Well-
Can't even be outside for long. This is what I have to hear. Can't
Yeah.
get to sleep at night. This is what I have to hear. So
Yeah.
I mean that's my problem. And I mean,
understand.
if you live there, you would. And I know you're still keeping up and keeping on them. But I mean, maybe that's why it's bothering me so much, right? And so also, I mean, you've said that due diligence was done, that this wouldn't have any adverse effects, but obviously it does. And there are homes on Stanton Road too. There's people that live on Stanton Road, and so for me, for y'all to walk around and say, hey, this is going to be fine, not going to bother anybody, it's just, it's good for the city. I mean, I wonder how the people on Stanton Road feel about that. You know, there's someone right across the street from this power plant.
But then again, I have to stand by that. If you buy a house in the
Right.
middle of an industrial zone, you made that decision.
All right, well, this property's been there for, for quite some time, probably longer than that's been industrial, and then, which I don't, it's not something I've dug into
Yeah.
a lot, but I also know that another property was considered a agriculture zone, and that residence felt like he still is, and then I just informed him recently, no, that's industrial now. And I don't know when that got changed, I don't know the process of that getting changed, but, that's,
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Well, we'll wrap it up.
So,
I appreciate you coming forward.
One more thing, if you
Okay.
don't mind, though. So I've just, in talking to some of the realtors and stuff, because, obviously I'm ready to get out of here, but my property value's already taken a hit because I have to disclose that, hey, I'm right next to an active power plant and this noise is happening. So, there's more effects than just the noise. And then, the new GXO building they've purchased, there's 250 plus people that are going to be without a job after next week because that is bought out and they're temporary employees that now have to go find employment elsewhere. So again, there's more concerns to that. And then, with my complaint on the noise and what we see, the xAI has told us that it's not going to happen, and here it is happening, that would be no adverse effects, then, it's hard for me to believe what they're telling everybody else about the pollution and the water usage and utilities and stuff that's happening in other states that are ahead of us in this game. So I think there's bigger concerns. I think that the future will show some economic benefits, but it's also going to show a lot of other problems. There's a lot of people in Southaven and Colonial Hills that are ready to get out of this area because of this. And, there's going to be, I feel like there's more people ready to leave than this is going to bring jobs to. So, that one more thing, we do have a petition. We did email this to you along with most of the Board of Aldermen. And we were asking for something where other people can speak at, to voice their concerns, and we have got no response on that. So we have a petition with over 700 signatures and some public impact statements that we'd like to leave with y'all.
Okay, Bill, yeah, please leave that, just leave it at the podium if you will.
All right.
Our city attorney will take that, yeah. Jason, thanks for coming forward, I
Thanks.
appreciate
And
it.
hopefully we get some more updates on it and this moves faster because I'm losing plenty of sleep over this, living that close.
I hear what you're saying, yes, sir.